All right. What's up? Welcome back to another live stream. I'm going to need you guys to help me out as usual with a very quick audio and visual check. Let me know if you can see me okay, and if you can hear me okay. If my video freezes up or something, just let me know how that's going. And how are we today? It's been a little minute since our last live stream. Shout out to everyone in the live chat today joining us for this live stream. We're going to be jumping into this in just a minute. Bitcoin did start dipping below 60k right before we started streaming here, so we got a lot to talk about. Shout out to Juan saying everything's okay. Ahmed from Baghdad, what's up, man? How are you? Juan's still bullish. How are we? Are we still feeling bullish? Are we feeling bearish? What's going on? Nick is asking, when do I think Bitcoin's going to reach $1 million? I have no idea, sir. I have no idea. Oh, man. Hello from rainy UK. What's up, man? Sorry about that. How are we feeling? Do we think we're dropping down? Do we think we're going to be recovering from this? Let me know how you're feeling about this in the live chat as we start kicking this stream off. Thank you all for tuning in, and as you are coming in, do me a favor and smash those likes up. Do me a favor and smash those likes up as we are coming in, ladies and gents. For the first live stream that we've been doing in a little bit, we got Kamal from Wales, UK. What's up, man? Request for meme coins. We can definitely look at meme coins. Hold on above 60k, yes or no? Well, we're on the edge of 60k right now. We're literally only $100 away from breaking it, so it's not looking good. What's up, Nicola? We got a lot of people from the UK right now. Yo, Sammy, hello from London. Just came back from a trip to Italy. Where'd you go in Italy? Amazing. Glad you're going live. Thank you. Thank you. Very glad you're joining in. If this is a double bottom to last week's, is this a double bottom to last week's 60k support, or are we going bear? We're going to be diving into that in this one. For sure. That is a big loaded question. Where else are we viewing from today, ladies and gents? Drop your location in the live chat. Don't be super precise. A city or country is good. And as you are tuning in, once again, do me a favor and smash those likes up, just to get this, get the algorithm juiced up a little bit. We got some really good price action to cover today. Just hanging on above $60,000. I want to talk to you about where I think this is going, how low, maybe how high, whatever. We'll get to all that in just a minute. But we got Portugal here, we got Italy, Tennessee, Pakistan, Ghana. Amazing, guys. Welcome to the stream. I'm getting tired of crypto, dude. A lot of people are getting tired of crypto right now. A lot of people are getting tired of crypto. It's been tiring. We've now actually been consolidating for pretty much the same time period as 2023, where we traded sideways for 7 months. We've been doing that right now, and I guess the only real difference is that instead of going sideways, we've gone down in that same time. But yeah, not amazing. We got somebody from Nigel Farage's constituency, Clacton in Essex. How is Clacton? Does everyone actually love Farage out there? This is so depressing. How low can we go? Well, I would like to remind you that we're at $60,000, so we're not actually we're not actually that low at all, in my opinion. Indonesia, sorry, Norway, what's up? The moment you're tired of waiting is when the pump starts every time. That is 100% correct in my experience. That is 100% correct. In my experience, when you kind of stop paying attention, that's when you start running into problems. That's when the charts kind of start moving in whatever direction they were going to move in. So I think that's important. Just one more time, ladies and gents, if you are just tuning in now, do me a favor and smash up those likes. We're going to be kicking off this stream very, very shortly. If you are excited for this one, there's a lot to cover. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, alts, traditional finance. There's a lot to cover. A couple of tweets as well. If you're excited, do me a favor and smash them up. Double check that you are subscribed. Nice to see that the people are getting tired and bored of crypto, and it's at a good time, right? I mean, put it this way, it would be way more depressing if people got bored of crypto and left down here versus like up here, right? Because like up here, you know, I can't even fit it on the chart. It's been so long since we bottomed out. You know, but see, the thing is that up here, if people are kind of starting to lose it and lose their minds and stop being interested in the market, you know, then that tells me that actually you might be starting to see some retail kind of selling their bags super high. And, you know, if you ask me, retail is not typically, you know, the kind of group that sells their bags at the top. Retail typically sell very, very far from the top. You know, and to me, that again is an even bigger indication that this chart is going to keep ripping higher. So I think there's lots there. Every time I buy memes, they crash, so it must be my fault. Markets are falling. You might just be buying at bad times. It might just be that simple. I don't know. Who knows? What do I know? But yeah, it might not be that there's like a big conspiracy against you. It might just literally be, you know, bad at trading. Probably, you know, more likely explanation. And, you know, that's good. At least it's not something out of your control then. You know, that's what I would say. But yeah, ladies and gents, thank you all for tuning in. This is a big one. Bitcoin has managed to fall just slightly below $60,000 right before this live stream here. If you are excited for this, do me a favor and smash it up, because we are going to be going into this. If we can sweep that low, if Bitcoin is going to be dipping below 60K, how low is that going to go? What exactly is going on? And is there a path for repair for these markets? So a very exciting one. And the first thing that I want to do is just acknowledge that there is this kind of potential double bottom that a couple of viewers have already been talking about in this live stream, right? We've already started to see this kind of turn into a potential double bottom. I'm not really having any of it. I do think that it's an important support level, and we've been looking at it accordingly for some time now. I've got it drawn on this chart all the way down to about 59.7, but really it doesn't matter particularly much where it's drawn down to, because it's not amazing no matter how you look at it. But what I will say for sure, what I can say with some confidence, is that this is still a pretty useful level, right? So I'm not necessarily expecting it to just kind of break and, you know, turn into a catastrophe. But at the same time, there are some pretty nasty charts we can start pulling up on stream. I mean, take a look at this one right here. This is Ethereum with its yearly chart. And I mean, this is just a horrible, horrible candle that Ethereum is in for its current yearly candle. So there's a lot that we're going to be going through in this live stream today. Like I said, we're going to be covering Bitcoin's dominance, Ethereum against Bitcoin, a bunch of the other altcoins, traditional finance. There's a lot more that I want to cover. Just some really, really interesting stuff actually to do with whales. I don't know if I've got an actual chart for you there, but we are starting to see some evidence of more whales. Yeah, I do. It's here on Twitter, kind of buying Bitcoin. So we're going to be diving into some of that stuff throughout this stream as well. So lots to look forward to. Smash them up if you are just tuning in. Double check that you are subscribed. And while we are here, Bitcoin is clearly just hanging on by a thread right now at this $60,000 price level. The current price is $60,088. And basically, I think if we sweep this low right here, this low that we set at 59.9, this is going to vary depending on what exchange you're looking at, but right here, 59.9, if we sweep this low, that's it. It's game over. I think we're dipping down by at least, you know, it's going to be like a $2,000 drop, I think, until we get to 58K. So we'll be seeing that potentially live on stream if that does end up happening. But as far as the support level goes, like I said, I don't think we're necessarily wiped out yet. You know, I mean, 60K is still a good support level. You know, and until it's broken, it's still there. That's as far as I can see. That's what I believe about this support level here. I do think that it's been tested quite a bit, and that's why I don't want to be mega optimistic here, and that's why I did say that if we do lose it, you know, I'm seeing 58K. That's about a $2,000 drop, 3.5%, whatever. No big deal. Honestly, not a super scary kind of drop at all for Bitcoin. Still very much within Bitcoin's current higher low posture. You know, if Bitcoin did kind of end up trading down here. I think a lot of people won't like this kind of analysis. They won't be open to these kind of ideas, but no, that's completely okay. We don't need retail to be loving my analysis for it to be correct. You know, and I think that it is just a really nicely kind of spaced out higher low. You know, when you start to see that your lows, you know, get significantly higher, right? Like it's not even close. For example, here, this was a 6% higher low. From this level, it's 9%. But if we measure this low up to here, it's a 13% move. Do you know what I mean? Like when it starts becoming a little bit too aggressive, you can almost just start asking questions and being like, well, I don't know. Are we really punching in lows that are that high? Or is it likely that we're actually going to come down a little bit more, capture support a little bit lower, and then continue trading higher? You know, and for me, it's kind of that second, you know, possibility that I'm leaning toward a little bit more, which is why I think that a low kind of anywhere around 58K would make a lot of sense for Bitcoin. Wouldn't really invalidate particularly much. It would just mean that this support level has become really blurry. It's not very useful support. But we kind of already know that, you know. I mean, when we were moving up, we didn't struggle too much for resistance. On the way down, we really didn't find any support back then in August, very, very beginning of August. Those of you that were here, obviously, you might remember from just 2 months ago. You know, the market just plummeted straight through this level. So not going super, super amazing at this level, but that's all the more reason for why I'm not too worried about if we lose it, right? I mean, I would be more worried if we lost an important support level, right? If we lost a level that genuinely is super critical for the market, but 60K ain't it, in my opinion, so it's not too concerning there. Another reason that I'm just not concerned at all is traditional finance. I mean, take a look at the S&P 500. I shit you not, I saw somebody posting on Twitter about how Wall Street is selling off. You know, with the newest inflation news or whatever just came out. And I mean, you tell me, does this look like a chart that's being sold off? This is the S&P 500, one of the most, you know, important indices in the whole world, and certainly in the United States. And where's the fucking sell-off? I mean, I don't see it. You know, people are getting really dramatic over. I mean, you know, you can't even measure this on a chart. This is literally a 0.2% retracement from an all-time high at that. Not even, you know, a downtrend or anything. This is from an all-time high. We're down 0.2%. There's no retracement here. There's no weakness here. If anything, you know, what's very clear on this shorter term time frame chart is that we are just consolidating at an all-time high, which is the most typical thing that happens before the chart keeps on moving up. So I'm pretty confident about what I'm seeing here. I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here, and I certainly think that the S&P 500 could be continuing to rally up here, which is fantastic. By the way, there's a lot going in favor of that, right? We've got Rover right here posting a tweet about how the main reason to be bullish on Bitcoin is the fact that central banks are injecting so much liquidity into the economy again. This is the worst time to be bearish. And here we've got a chart of the global liquidity index, and you can see that as we start to kind of break out from these highs that the global liquidity index has been setting on this little indicator here, you know, as we start breaking out, that's when you start getting that big explosion for Bitcoin. You really don't need a chart like this to tell you this, though. This is quite intuitive. If there's more money floating around, naturally prices go higher. And so to me, I think that, you know, you don't need a chart like this to tell you this. It's very clear that now that those money printers are starting to go, now that interest rates are starting to come back down, we are clearly going to be seeing some more runway for crypto here. So, you know, this is kind of backed up with a bit of evidence. We don't even need it. We just know what's going on. We can see things with our own eyes. We understand basic market principles. So I think that that's really good news for these markets as well. And then again, when we come back to Bitcoin, it's like, well, what gives, right? Like, we got a pretty good, you know, kind of setup on this chart right now. We got a pretty good, you know, S&P 500. You know, the fundamental factors are looking good. I mean, yeah, the dollar is a little bit high. The dollar is definitely not stopping. And I think that's actually the main reason that Bitcoin isn't going up yet. I think it is the dollar. You know, but naturally, I think another big thing to point out is that, you know, it's really just kind of Bitcoin that's struggling right now. It's really just crypto, right? I mean, if everything else is kind of doing well, I mean, we've even got gold sitting up here at 2,600. Like, yeah, it's retraced a little bit, but, you know, from 26.80 basically, it's now down to 26.25. I mean, it's dropped by $60 here. It's absolutely nothing. You know, even for gold, it's still relatively small, a 2.2% move. So it really is just Bitcoin that isn't kind of close to or at all-time highs. And my answer to that is pretty straightforward. It doesn't even, you know, have anything to do with the current chart. It just seems like Bitcoin has been moving to some extent in its own way. Now, it's really important to clarify that, to me, this still means Bitcoin is in the same long-term trend. I still think Bitcoin's in the same long-term bullish trend, and this trend is really clear, right? I mean, it doesn't take a genius to point out. If we go ahead and zoom out on this chart and we look at this right here on a daily perspective, this has been, you know, a little bit of a kind of downward channel here, but a very controlled downward channel. If you take a look at it with our highs, you know, you can draw this a couple different ways, and, you know, you can say that we've started to get fake outs, or maybe we haven't, you know, hit the level particularly much. It really doesn't matter where this resistance level is drawn, because what is clear is that, with the exceptions of these wicks, which are kind of ugly, you know, the market has actually followed this pattern remarkably well, which to me means that we're in a relatively tight consolidation zone here. And, you know, that just, you know, if we're in a consolidation zone, then, you know, the question comes back to, okay, well, what is the overarching trend? All right, what is the trend that takes precedence overall? And, you know, I mean, how can you argue anything against it being a bullish trend, right? I mean, it's still the same picture. The reason I'm still basically as bullish as I've been, you know, even 7 months ago, is because the market hasn't really done anything different. You know, we haven't really invalidated any levels. We haven't even traded out of formation. You know, we're still in the same formation, which is a downward sloping, you know, parallel channel. You know, we're still in the same kind of parallel channel here, which is obviously marked by these blue lines. So, you know, we're still in the same downtrend. That's just, you know, I don't think that's been invalidated yet. And so when it comes back to Bitcoin, you know, not really moving in line with the S&P, not really moving in line with gold, right, and other traditional finance markets, you know, to me, it's not concerning. To me, it's just Bitcoin's waiting for the big move to restart. And that's where things get interesting again. Just as we're live, by the way, Bitcoin has just now slid below $60,000. We are now at 59,995, or even just $1 above 60K now, just floating in and around these figures. So if you are enjoying this video so far, do me a massive favor here and smash up those likes as you are coming into this live stream. I am here for you during this volatility, and hopefully during all the rest of it as well. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on this content. And we are going to continue to kind of analyze all of this with a very cool, calm, sober perspective. Why do I use the Bybit chart and not the index chart? I use a lot of different charts. My favorite chart since 2017 has been Coinbase, for no particular reason. I mean, it is kind of the biggest US exchange, or was. I don't know if it still is. But yeah, I mean, they're all kind of the same. I just use different charts because I got different drawings on them. It's really that simple. There's not a whole lot else to it. Here's Gemini, really nicely painted chart here, showing that we are kind of about to drop out of this range right here at the moment. If we take a look at this, coming back to Coinbase, we are now just on the edge of setting some new lows here for Bitcoin. So definitely kind of all going on right now. By the way, I was curious about that comment about Clacton. So from Clacton as well, we won't see Farage again. He got what he wanted from us, and a milkshake thrown over him. Okay, so not expecting a re-election. Certainly not expecting him to be prime minister then for the next general election. Okay, very interesting. Rob in Thailand. I just bought more Bitcoin today. Yo, shout out to Rob. Not showing any fear at all about this market and buying the dip. That is very, very cool. I don't know if it's the right decision, but I like it. I like it for sure. Bitcoin going to 54K before a bounce. We had another prediction about 52K. So yeah, good stuff there. What's up, Sean? We got Sean in the chat saying you can't get any steps sitting down. You are 100% right, man. I gotta get my walking treadmill back here. But take a look at this here with Bitcoin. We are starting to move closer to kind of sweeping that low here. That low was punched in at 59.9. So if we do lose this level right here, that's going to be our sign that, yeah, we're probably going to start intensifying on this dump a little bit. I think that there's going to be some interesting trading opportunities that could start to open up, specifically, you know, in terms of back testing. If, you know, Bitcoin kind of does something a little bit like this, that's going to be the entry for, you know, some kind of selling positions, probably stop loss up at about 61.4, target in 58. It's not amazing. It's, you know, it's obviously more of a day trade, but that's a 2.5 risk to reward entry at 60,400. Not necessarily something that I would take, but it doesn't really matter with the kind of free money that's available. And I do want you guys to check this out if you're curious. You have got huge bonuses available to you with the links in the description below, where you can trade whatever the hell you like with free money that these exchanges give you. And the only way to get that free capital is by signing up and starting to trade. They're going to give you more free money to trade with, and any profits you generate with that cash are yours to keep. So that's super, super cool. Check them out. Blowfin is a phenomenal alternative to Bybit. And Bybit has also launched their DEX. So if you like a decentralized exchange, they're all linked down below. Every single link will give you tons of bonuses. It's worth checking them all out. But always make sure that you check your country's laws and regulations just to make sure that it's safe for you to use. But take a look at this. Bitcoin has now dipped below that $60,000 level conclusively. That dump has intensified and sped up by quite a bit. So definitely a hot time in the market. 59,700. Yeah, we have dipped down $300 below our support level. If you're live here with us, smash up those likes for this little drop. Maybe we can save it, or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we can ride it and make some profit off it. But yeah, I think that next key level pretty clearly down at 58. I do have 59.2 marked on this chart, but you know, I don't think it deserves to be there. It's a kind of interim level. Look, there are always going to be tons of levels that are kind of in between our big important levels. I'm not worried about them. I'm more worried about the bigger levels, because, you know, if you have to draw a line for everything, your chart's just going to look silly. A lot of people do that, and I'm not one of them. So it's not kind of my vibe that I like to go for. Just to kind of remind you what we're looking at, right? I mean, you know, if we do end up kind of dipping below 60K here conclusively, then the bottom of this kind of parallel channel, and like I said, this is going to depend on how you draw it, but the bottom of this parallel channel is now at $51,000, which to me means that, you know, we can kind of drop down as low as 51,000, and you know, we're still in a pretty bullish posture as far as I'm concerned, as long as we kind of defend that level. And it's also starting to line up with this $48,000 price level as well. So, you know, if it takes a little bit of time to come down here, you know, that could definitely line up with some interesting levels. I know that a lot of people were very interested in a bullish October, and unfortunately the market isn't giving us that. The market is instead just kind of choosing to dip down this month in October. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. You know, I don't really do kind of seasonal or calendar analysis on these markets. You know, everybody else talks about it, so sure, I don't mind, you know, talking about it a little bit. But, you know, it's not too relevant for me. You know, if you got good support levels below, you know, it's really not too concerning. The way I've got it drawn, I'm also looking at 51K. There's also the midline, the midpoint. This midpoint has actually been very, very accurate for the market. I want to draw your attention over to it, because I think a lot of people haven't really kind of even known that this line exists. And you know, you can draw this ever so slightly differently, you know, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. But what you see overall is that you're starting to get reversals around this particular price level, right? I mean, you know, you start to get kind of big dips initiating off this level. Look at this. You start to get big dips kind of initiating off this level. You get a couple of nice bounces that lead to some nice highs off this level as well. So this midpoint of our parallel channel, also very important, and definitely a zone of support for Bitcoin that I would not rule out. You know, and so that kind of puts Bitcoin, you know, somewhere like here along this kind of green box, right? Kind of toward the next 10 days of this month. So we'll see how that goes. Let's zoom in on Bitcoin again, though. We have seen Bitcoin dip slightly lower. We're now sitting at 59.5. We've bottomed out at 59.5. We're just sitting above that high right now. Obviously, we're probably going to be sweeping this low, and I still think that we're coming down by about another $2,000. So we're going to be watching that to see how that goes for this market. We are seeing Bitcoin's dominance decrease right now as well, which means that we are seeing some money stay in the altcoin market. We are seeing traders kind of not really selling off their altcoins as much as they're selling off their Bitcoin right now. This is very, very short-term analysis, so the overall trend I think is still very much the same. I still think we're going to see these alts bleeding into Bitcoin, but at this very moment there is a little bit of strength, so that's definitely a good sign. And we can just see Bitcoin really struggling to defend this level, right? Bitcoin loves these round numbers. Look at exactly where it stops dumping. It stops dumping at 59.5. It's a nice round number. We're going to see how this kind of continues to go on throughout this stream. If you are enjoying it so far, we got 300 viewers in the house. Smash them up, ladies and gents. We're going to be taking a look at some very interesting charts and analysis throughout this live stream here. Let me know if you have any questions, any kind of requests in the live chat as well. I am going to be reading your live chat questions and comments as well as we go along. We got Lucas in the live chat saying that he likes how fast we're crashing, and maybe we get a huge rebound to above $62,000 later. That would actually be amazing, right? Let's take a look at that, and let's kind of color that in just a little bit. And the first thing is obviously going to be, all right, well, where could we get a bounce from, right? And I mean, this is hard to say, and by the way, these wicks are a bit unrealistic, so let's use this chart here. But let's say, just for argument's sake, because it's easy, let's say we start a bounce off at this 58K level, right? I mean, it's an important level. We found a little bit of resistance here, some nice support. This one, kind of was an initiation of a bigger bounce. So definitely an important level for the market. And let's say that we kind of bounce off this level. I mean, a natural kind of correction, could easily take this market above 61K. It could even take it, to that kind of 62 and above kind of level that one of our viewers here was talking about. It would basically just mean a deviation below our 60K level, and then we kind of continue on higher, which I think is so possible. And that's the reason, that I wouldn't necessarily take a short trade here. This is going to be very much something that, a more, day trader, short-term trader is going to be interested in. Me personally, I still think that Bitcoin, very much has it in its characteristics to, bottom out a little bit below the range, get that deviation, and then just continue on like nothing ever happened, right? I think that would actually make a lot of sense here. Shout out to Ernest saying smash the like, guys. Very much appreciate it. What would you like to see to smash in a long on this drop? Good question. Lucas is asking me, what would make me go long on this chart? Nothing at the moment, to be honest. And it's not because I think that this chart is bearish at all. I just don't think it's safe enough. That's what it comes down to for me. Everyone's got a different kind of risk appetite. I'm playing with serious cash, if I'm going to make a trade. So, I've got to be, kind of careful about where I put my money. And I just, look, there are really easy opportunities in the market that happen all the time, and I'm just not seeing it right now. So, I don't really think that there's anything that would make me go long here. Other than, it's just a low price level, but that's not enough for me. I need a little bit more certainty. That's not to say I think it'll go wrong, right? Like, I think that there's some pretty sweet, even right now, I mean, with a super tight stop, like, I don't know, 59.2, that's a long, right? You got like an 8 risk to reward there, 1.3% on the downside, 10x leverage. That's an easy, 13% loss, 100% upside. It's an easy trade, right? I think, same numbers would apply for this range right here at 58. Kind of same, very, very similar figures. Entry at about, bang on 58, a little bit lower perhaps, doesn't really matter. Stop loss, 56.3 is a stop loss. I think, I could even 57.1, super tight, but could even put a stop loss there. But I just, they just all look a little bit messy. If anything, I think the better opportunities are on the altcoin market, and I do have a lot of trades like that that I've actually already planned, which I'm super excited for. Like I said, I'm going to be trading these markets on the links right here in the description. These are the exchanges that I'm using in this market, and you get tons of bonuses when you sign up using them. So super well worth checking them out, because you just get to trade with free money, right? I mean, it's just free money that kind of accelerates your process. So always check your country's laws, but very, very cool indeed over there. We got Sean saying, get off the roller coaster if you can't handle the ride. Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of in over their heads in these crypto markets. They don't really know what they're doing. And they shouldn't necessarily be here. Today, you know, is a day that'll kind of, you know, teach people that lesson. But, you know, I mean, this is the typical cyclical nature of these markets. It happens all the damn time. We've just seen Bitcoin dipping below that 59.5k level here. We've just set a brand new fresh low at 59,380. We got 320 viewers here. Let's smash those likes up to 100. Get this thing up to 100 likes. Still on our way. I don't see any path for this thing to recover in any meaningful way until it drops down a little bit further. We got Dr. Imar. I'm all in on USDT. I'm not riding it into the crypto abyss this time. That is hilarious. We've just swept that low as well. $59,320 is now our low in this market. ETFs have ruined crypto. It's over. You know, this is what I love, ladies and gents. We got Mango here saying that the ETFs have ruined crypto. You know, and I absolutely love this sentiment, right? Because it couldn't be further from the truth, in my opinion. It's so far on the incorrect side of reality, in my opinion. But it's just a super short-term conclusion. You know, to what is actually a very long-term problem, right? I mean, you know, these ETFs are here for the long term. You know, they're not here for the short term. Yet, you know, if you know that these ETFs launched, you know, 10 months ago, and you're not super happy that the price is only $20,000 higher than when these ETFs launched, because I do want to remind you guys, by the way, you know, that the ETFs were launched basically. It was like January 8, right? The big ETF for Bitcoin. It was something like that. You know, and from there to here, you're still up 35%, right? I mean, it is a phenomenal gain, you know, to be pulling off in just 1 year. And yet what we're seeing from retail is a sentiment that actually these ETFs were a disaster for the market. You know, you only made 35% in the space of 10 months. And the reason that I think this is such a big deal, you know, and really well worth kind of pointing out and highlighting, is that this thing is going to take a long time to really mature, this whole ETF question. This is a much longer term question. The number one thing that, you know, you guys understood, you know, being subscribed to this YouTube channel, is that these ETFs and the big traders that, you know, are involved in them, their job and their intention is not to make you rich. The intention of these bigger guys that are trading these ETFs is to make money off you, not to give you money. And I think that's a really important distinction, because if you don't make that distinction, then what's going to happen is you're going to be trapped thinking that, you know, there's always going to be an institution to save you. There's always going to be Michael Saylor to save you. There's always going to be BlackRock or whoever else to save you and send your bags flying higher. But it's not the way it works. When these guys get in the game, historically, time and time again, when these guys get in the game, what happens is that things slow down a lot until they start speeding up again when retail is ready to start getting dumped on, and so on. I think this is a really, really big deal. You know, the fact that people are starting to get exhausted from these kind of news cycles, you know, to me, I'm like, fucking, you know, finally, mate. Like, we've been talking about this for years. For years we've been talking about this on this YouTube channel, but we're finally getting there. People are finally starting to come around and understand reality a little bit more, which is, of course, that they're not going to be pumping your bags. And actually what's going to happen most likely after an ETF launches is you're going to get an extended period of sideways, you know, kind of price action where those ETF buyers can actually accumulate. Okay, and we've got evidence to suggest that that's exactly what's happening with this tweet right here, showing the Bitcoin realized cap for new whales in 2020. Take a look at the massive spike here for new whales that we're seeing, and then put this in perspective of what's been happening this year in 2024. I mean, we have so many new whales in this market that it just completely dwarfs what was happening earlier in 2020. I mean, you know, this massive spike that you're seeing here is way, way down here. I mean, you can't even see it. Hang on, I'm blocking it with my... Let me take my face cam off so you can see what I'm talking about. It's way down here. I mean, it's a joke, right? I mean, you know, that's the reality of what we're seeing here. You know, but I would like to remind you, you know, when did we start to see the big jump in these whales start, right? According to this chart, it was kind of, you know, right at the very beginning of 2018 or right at the very end of 2017. That was when we really started to see a massive, you know, kind of increase in whales in this market, right? It was kind of 2018, end of 2017 bull market. And the reason that that's a really important, you know, kind of time frame to be focusing on is because that was truly the first time that institutional traders kind of entered the space. It was right at the very top. It was December 12, if I'm not mistaken, 2017. It was literally, and I mean literally, like right here where I'm putting this vertical line. So, I mean, it marked the absolute top for the market. And what happened was that, you know, and those of you that were here, let me know in the live chat how many of you were here on this YouTube channel or just here in the market in general. Let me know in the live chat how many of you guys were here for this. And by the way, as we speak, we are looking at a $59,200 Bitcoin. We're going to be coming back to this chart in just a quick second here. You know, I do want to cover this analysis with you. I think it's super interesting. I think you guys are going to be loving it. But, you know, if we do bring it back to this chart here, what happened was that all throughout this kind of bear cycle, which initiated right after these kind of institutional players got in, you know, there were massive fear campaigns driving Bitcoin lower. And when they came down here, when Bitcoin came down here, I remember I was going to crypto events, you know, and I was kind of doing my thing. I was going around. There was nobody here. There was no retail. There was no retail in the space. But what was happening was you started to get these bigger kind of institutions actually buying down here. I mean, we can find evidence of this pretty easily if we kind of search up, you know, JP Morgan, for example, you know, the very same company that was spreading fear about Bitcoin in this $6,000 range. They were the same motherfuckers buying Bitcoin down here in the $3,000 range, right? So, you know, it's the classic tale that we've seen a million times, which is that, you know, yeah, sure, okay, they got in a little bit late with their ETFs up here, but I was calling for it. I was saying it very vocally on this YouTube channel. Shout out to Lord Amin 2085 here since late 2017. That is, you know, 7 years you've been in this space now, so congratulations on being old. and you know, ETFs launching over here, and you know, naturally, as we were talking about on this YouTube channel, that's going to open up the doors for a lot of consolidation where they can kind of buy things while it's quiet, because we know, right, the cycle of these markets are that it's going to be ridiculously boring for a really long time, and then it's going to heat up, and then it's going to get boring again, and it's probably going to heat up again, right? That's kind of what we're expecting already. So before I continue on with that, take a look at Bitcoin right here on the minute time frame. We've just now, literally this second, dipped below $59,000. That dump happened very quickly, exactly as predicted here on this YouTube channel. If you're finding this live stream useful, entertaining in any way whatsoever, do me a favor and smash up those likes. We've just passed 100 likes. Let's get this thing up to 250 likes as a next key target. 250 likes on this live stream. If you are finding it useful, smash them up, ladies and gents. Double check, of course, that you are subscribed, because this is very time-sensitive content. You don't want to miss out on it. We're going to be live, basically, whenever the market's moving. You're always going to have me here being a very calm, collected voice of reason, even in the scariest, most tumultuous of circumstances. And that is that's where real value is, in my opinion. But take a look at that very small bounce forming here. We've punched in a low at $58,865, and we have now rallied up by about 200, recovering this just a little bit. Is anyone short Bitcoin? Let us know in the live chat. Is anyone short on Bitcoin right now? A question from Sean in the live chat. Has anybody gone short on Bitcoin? Let us know. If you're short, where you're short from, how much money you've been making. Let's celebrate a couple of traders here. that have been pulling some gains here. Absolutely sick. Thank you for leading our support group, Sabi. You're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. 58K, 59K here for Bitcoin. We got Aditya making $1,000 from Nepal. That is amazing. Good job, man. Really, really love to see it. Huge, huge gain. Just give me a second, guys. Who else we got short here? We got Richard short from 64K. Fabio also 5x short from 64K. So how much? What's your profit, mate? 64K down to here. That is a 7.7% move. And you have traded that on 7.7. And you've traded that on 5x leverage. So that is a 40% profit, mate. Very, very good job there. 40% profit. Just with that very small move. So I'm guessing Fabio entered somewhere here. What a phenomenal entry. Good job. And 40% profit now. So that would turn 10 grand into 14. Look, there's money being made everywhere. That's, you know, there's no truth, that's bigger than that in this market. You know, there's tons of opportunities. We got Shaman with a sell order at $60,000. Yeah, which is kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier on in this stream. I was describing how this is kind of a trade setup that I think a couple of people are going to be interested in moving forward right now. We've got Richard also short from 64, so similar kind of gains potentially there. A question for me: at what price of Bitcoin do I get worried about the end of the bull run? Probably anything below 30K. Would get concerning. I think below 44 would, you know, be a little bit uncomfortable, but below 30K I would probably, you know, and I made a video about this. We posted that video. I know it sounds ridiculous, right? I mean, 30K is literally $30,000 away basically. You know, but I made a video on this yesterday. Can Bitcoin ever drop below 30K again? I think it's a really important video. It's well worth checking out. Any of you that are watching this live, by the way, pause the live stream and watch this video right now. This is one of the coolest videos I've ever made. A 5-minute how to trade Bitcoin video for complete beginners even. Super, super cool. We've also made this video on the US election strategy that I'm going to be using here. Super excited for that. The US election is in less than a month now, actually. My God, that's very, very close by. And so lots of opportunity in the market there in light of the election and some inflation stuff. Really high production videos here, these three that I've just highlighted to you. Well worth checking out. But yeah, I made a video specifically tackling this, and I don't think, you know, we're going below 30K. And if we do, I still actually think that we've got some bullish arguments that you can make. But yeah, I go into much more depth on that here. So if you're watching live, you can just pause, catch up on that content, and then come back here. You can always throw this live stream on 2x speed, because many people have been asking me to speak slowly, and we're doing a little bit more of that in this live stream here. But 58K flat is where Bitcoin is right now, which I think is super, super interesting. And actually, we were talking about the longer term trend here a little bit, and just how, you know, kind of ETFs kind of came in and launched back here. But how I was saying that naturally, you know, they're going to want an extended period of kind of calm in order to buy Bitcoin. Now, what I found surprising is that they're buying Bitcoin at the highs, right? I mean, you know, these are highs for Bitcoin, and yet we are seeing, you know, kind of quite large ETF inflows overall, especially because, you know, the only opportunity that ETF buyers ever had to buy Bitcoin, you know, especially these big ones that we're talking about, you know, it was, you know, $40,000 and above, really. You know, and so what I expected was that there'd be some kind of crash engineered in order to get into Bitcoin. But it seems like instead it's just been a really shitty, boring sideways. Oh, it's not even that sideways, just a boring kind of, you know, downward channel here that Bitcoin's been in, where no real damage has even happened. I mean, you know, it took, you know, 5 months for Bitcoin to drop 33%, and that even was recovered very, very quickly. I mean, you know, since we topped out at the all-time high, it's been pretty much exactly 7 months, and we're only down by 20%. I mean, you know, this just absolutely stinks of, I don't want to say market manipulation necessarily, although I think it is market manipulation, but it just absolutely reeks of large scale kind of accumulation happening in this price range, which is why I'm so damn bullish. I mean, I can't see bullish sentiment from retail very much anymore. It really has soured. Fear and greed index has been consistently low for quite some time now. We're looking at this right here on the 3-month, and we were at about 65 for a little bit, some nice kind of levels of greed, but right back down 37. Today we're at 39, and it hasn't even updated yet. It's probably going to be a little bit lower in 6 hours when this updates one more time, and it's just consistently been in low, fear or extreme fear, or even, at best kind of neutral for the last couple of months now. And at the same time, we've been seeing those larger kind of wallets accumulating more, and we're getting more sentiment like we've seen in the live chat today from people talking about how these ETFs suck and, things didn't kind of work out the way they were expecting. So I'm really not seeing anything out of the ordinary at all, anything that I'm kind of surprised by. I think that this is, very much what you would have to expect in the markets. Bear with, I'm just trying to make sure I can see the numbers properly. But yeah, I think that really tells us everything. People are getting bearish right when all of the bullish factors are coming in line. And if there's anything that I would label as very, very typical, it would be this situation that we're in right now. Your live inspired us a lot. Love from Nepal. Thank you very, very much, Aditya. I'm super happy that these lives were good for you here. We got Gary in the live chat saying, I'm still eyeing the 618 Fibonacci at 57.5 for a long. That sounds super cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I haven't seen that Fibonacci, but let's see if I can pull it up on this chart. I don't know which chart to use. We're going to use this chart to draw it on. And let's where are we drawing this fib from, Gary? Let's take a look. So I'm guessing it might be from this low up to this high. Yep, right there. So that is our golden pocket. A very, very good fib level, I would say. I mean, what a phenomenal level. I think this looks pretty sweet. It's in line with my kind of $58,000 price level that I was describing. It's only a couple hundred off, and this is a phenomenal bounce zone for Bitcoin. Given that there's a fib there. So yeah, good stuff there, Gary. I think this trade idea basically suggests that this is kind of a very, very important low for Bitcoin. And basically from this low we've been in an uptrend, and we're going to kind of continue on higher. We've potentially already done this. Let me take a look at this quickly. Let's see what happened here. From this low to this high, Bitcoin fell down to the 786 retracement, more or less, and then it kind of and then it recovered higher. We did have a little bit of action in the 618 golden pocket, but not a whole lot. We did overshoot it, but it's the same trade idea, or it's the same analysis idea at least, which is you're kind of trending up. You're retracing pretty deep, and then you're continuing to kind of trend up. And in this case, if we did the same thing again, then the current fib looks something a little bit more like this. This is kind of what the current fib looks like. So our 786 level puts us at about 55.5, and our 618 level puts us at about 57, 58. Really, really nice level. A lot of people are purely just going to trade off this alone. Get some leveraged longs going. And run it like that. I think it's a pretty sweet trade. It's not good enough for me, but I think it's still pretty good. I think, more often than not, a trade like this would typically work out in my experience. So that's pretty good. We got Nakamoto short from 64K, but he's also just flipped long at 59. So playing both sides there. Absolutely amazing stuff. Very cool to see so many of you guys in some profits today. Absolutely love to see that. As usual, if you are enjoying this live stream so far today, ladies and gents, smash them up, smash those likes up, double check, of course, that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on this super time sensitive content. Super, super important here in these markets that we're able to kind of catch these moves live as they happen. A lot of people have been prevented from making stupid mistakes watching these live streams, and even some money made as well, so not too bad. The low will be tomorrow, and then the weekend. I don't like comments where people make prophecies. I'm not going to read that. People shocked. Meanwhile, me buying my final bag. Yeah, I think the real winners are probably buying today, at least on spot. I'm not talking about leverage positions. That's a different beast altogether. But at least on spot, I think a lot of traders that make money are probably considering, you know, buying at least a little bit right now. We're seeing a bit of consolidation here on Bitcoin right now on the minute time frame. This looks like it's literally about to give right now, so we'll see how this goes. If we kind of sweep this low at about 58.9, then I think we're, you know, 58k is next. So let's see. We're kind of, look at that, we're starting to sweep this low already as we speak on this live stream. So that's going on, I guess, which is super interesting. Is it a good time for altcoins on spot? I mean, you know, Bitcoin's dominance is coming down during this pullback a little bit. We're kind of back into this green range now. Is it a good time to get in altcoins? I don't think so. I mean, look, there's always going to be money to be made, right? Like these altcoins, you know, are always going to have situations where they're kind of bouncing up a little bit, but you know, I think that the big opportunity is when, you know, Bitcoin's dominance really kind of resets, when Bitcoin's dominance really drops down from a level like 60 to 30, right? Like that kind of drop in Bitcoin's dominance is where you make such ridiculous amounts of money you could never imagine. You know, that's what I would expect to happen, and I don't think we're anywhere close to that right now. So are there going to be opportunities to buy altcoins and make, you know, like a 10, 20%, 5%, 50%? Yeah, sure. Yeah, probably. But you know, I'm not interested in that, right? If I'm taking the kind of risk that altcoins present, then I need to be making, you know, a 5-10x gain, right? And anything less than that, it's just not worth it, right? There's enough reward in Bitcoin. I don't need to go kind of fishing for much riskier places for only slightly better returns. So I think that's important. Right here, though, on the minute time frame, we are defending this 58.9k level. I don't think this is going to last long. We'll see. We'll come back to this in just a second here. If we do take a look at Ethereum against Bitcoin, you know, it is bouncing up a little bit. It's been struggling for some time, but it has mustered up a little bit of strength. Really not a whole lot going on. Still looking pretty shit to me. Last time we came down to this price level, it was a big 10% move for Ethereum in 5 days. On this occasion, it's been 7 days, and the most we've been able to do is 3.7%. So it's clearly weaker this time than it was last time, and it's clearly the exact same situation that Ethereum has been in countless times so far. When we fell down to this low, super quick, 1 day reversal up by 5%. On this occasion here, it took 13 hours, but we only moved up by 3.5%, and then the next time it took over a day and only up by 1.5. Clearly, the bounces have gotten slower and they've gotten weaker, and that's how they indicate that the price is going to start dipping down again, and that's what I think we're in right now. A big bounce, a quick bounce, followed by a short bounce and a slow bounce. Clearly not a good recipe. Clearly the same thing many times. Those of you that are subscribed who watch this content regularly are going to know the same thing we've been seeing for a long time, indicating further downside for Ethereum against Bitcoin. And I obviously think that a lot of the altcoin market is going to be looking similar to that right now as well. I mean, here we've got Cardano, which actually hasn't set a new low for some time, but it has been kind of trading in this really dangerous zone right here, which is effectively you know, a key bottom for Cardano. I mean, it's hard to imagine how it can drop lower. And we've got other coins that are just flat out at all-time lows. You know, so quite an abysmal time to be, you know, in altcoins right now. And again, I mean, it's the same thing that we've been talking about on this channel for a while, which is that, you know, you are getting, you know, big drops in these altcoin markets. You know, again, without even justifying, you know, the risk that you're in. Tons of things going wrong. Shout out to Life at 200 miles per hour. Good to see you here on this live stream as well. Bookmap shows tons of liquidity at 56k. That's interesting. I think that's definitely you know, a possibility that we start eating into some of that liquidity as well in this market. We are defending that 58.9k level pretty well. just for a minute here. I mean, again, I still think that we're going to be dipping. We're not. It's the same thing, right? You're seeing it happen right now. We produced a nice bounce originally. This time we came back to the same level, and very small bounce, about half the size, if not less, right? So I mean, this is ultra short-term analysis. It's too short to do it correctly. But the point is still there, right? The point is still that originally we get a nice bounce, and the next time we just have too much weakness. We can't really do that, so the price kind of starts dipping down again. So like I said, a lot of altcoins kind of in that same position right now against Bitcoin, at very, very low levels, in deep trouble. And it's like we've been saying on this channel for a long time, ladies and gents. If Bitcoin is looking like it's going to move up very aggressively, just like it has been over the last year, if not much more, then actually you're probably going to see altcoins selling off, right? Because if Bitcoin is making money, you don't have a reason to take on additional risk, especially if things are looking scary in the crypto space. On the flip side, if things are looking scary in the crypto space and Bitcoin starts dropping, then you're still going to see people rushing out of altcoins a lot of the time because they still don't want that extra risk, right? Like if everything is crashing, then the only thing you have if you're in altcoins is more downside. You just have a bigger risk. It gets worse. And so for that reason, it's a very weak argument to be in altcoins, in my opinion, until those factors change. And I don't think that they're going to be changing anytime soon. I still think that Bitcoin is far away from any kind of mature price level. 58.9, right back down here again. Let's see if we end up kind of sweeping that low right here. And as we are waiting for that, let's take a look at a couple other bits. I did actually want to make a video for you guys about... I've closed it now. I wanted to make a video for you guys about crypto.com and the SEC. That was super interesting. They've got their company news page right here, which we can take a look at if it's going to load. They filed a suit against the SEC to protect the future of crypto in the United States. So I was actually going to make a dedicated video about this, but hey, since we're live, we'll just do it now. Even better. Super interesting stuff here that I'm going to be discussing with you guys right now in this live stream. But if you have been enjoying the stream so far, do me a massive favor and smash up those likes if you haven't done so already. And I am going to be continuing to monitor your chat as well here, your live chat questions, requests, whatever you have as we go on. And I got a couple more bits to be showing you in this live stream as well. So let's take a look at this article. This is interesting. So the SEC actually served crypto.com with something called a Wells notice, which is basically a notification that they're going to start taking some enforcement action against crypto.com. The reasoning isn't super clear. I couldn't really find exactly why this is happening to crypto.com, but it seems like it's broadly because they allow trading of certain tokens which are considered by the SEC to be securities. If you didn't understand what that means, that doesn't really matter. The bottom line, I think, by most people's perspectives, is that the SEC has been getting very fucking confident recently, too confident recently, overstepping what they were set up to do, and kind of applying laws, regulations, punishments, in places that don't really make sense. That's kind of the long and short of it. But to get a little bit deeper into detail, because the detail really does matter here, major cryptocurrency exchange and service provider Crypto.com is launching a legal battle against the US SEC with the goal of protecting the future of the crypto industry. Now, the reason they're saying this is because if we come a little bit lower, for now, according to Crypto.com, improper SEC enforcement actions are part of the process of operating a legitimate and licensed crypto business in the US. What they're saying here is that if you are legitimate, if you are licensed, if you're doing everything properly, still suffering improper punishments from the SEC is normal, right? Even if you're doing everything above board and you've jumped through all of the hoops that they want you to jump through, which granted will be a lot, they're still going to come after you and punish you for things that are not proper. I think that it's really interesting that Crypto.com is coming out and saying this right now, because this is at the same time that the SEC is getting tons of countersuits and attacks. XRP just filed against them a couple of days ago. Coinbase had their own drama. Binance, as we know, had their drama too, which actually resulted in CZ going to prison in sunny California, which is, hilarious. We got to talk about that for a second. Dude was probably, just, I don't know what he was doing, probably out there on a farm or something for a little bit. He's back in Dubai now, if I'm not mistaken, which is absolutely sick. But I do think that, there's been a lot of kind of negative PR around the SEC lately, with companies like Crypto.com also now having the confidence to kind of do something about it, and all happening at the same time. And by the way, it gets a lot deeper than that. We're going to get to that in just a second here, because this is a really interesting article. I don't know how many of you guys have actually read this, because it's already 2 days old news, but still super relevant. This unprecedented action by our company against the federal agency is a warranted response. So they're kind of justifying why they're looking to sue the SEC here. And they're saying that the SEC's enforcement regime has hurt more than 50 million American crypto holders. By the way, there are like 340 million people in the US. We don't even know anymore. Things are getting kind of crazy out there, but there are a lot of people in the country, but 50 million that have apparently been affected negatively by the SEC. So that's according to Crypto.com. I believe these numbers. I think these numbers are realistic. They went on to write that we are doing so to protect the future of the crypto industry in the United States, joining a series of our peers who are actively defending themselves and taking action against a misguided federal agency acting beyond its authorization under the law. There is tons of evidence to back up what they're saying right here. You can search for it. We're not going to be diving too deep into that stuff in this video, in this live stream here, because we're obviously a little bit more focused on price action. But, very, very accurate statements here, I think, being made from Chris, the co-founder and current CEO of Crypto.com. Continuing on here, he promised that the company would use all regulatory tools available to bring certainty to the industry through proper rulemaking. Crypto.com has also petitioned the US CFTC and the SEC to confirm categorizing crypto derivatives products. One of the things that's been frustrating for big players in the space is that definitions of things have been conflicting from different 3 and 4 letter federal agencies, and it's like, well, who the hell do you believe? Who do you go by? You go by one agency, but it contradicts another agency. So no matter what you do, somebody's pissed off. And there's just been a litany. Honestly, these are issues that you would expect more from third world countries, and certainly from more kind of developing countries that are a little bit newer. But it's happening in the US, and I think that's why it's kind of getting so much, kind of negative PR right now, because it's affected so many companies negatively. And by the way, this is on the other side of Dubai, just by a point of comparison. Anybody that's kind of interested in Dubai, reach out if you're looking to make a move. There's a lot that we can do for you, my team and I. If you're interested in kind of moving to Dubai, we've already kind of been doing that a little bit for some people. This is at the same time that exchanges are kind of securing full licenses in Dubai. And there's a lot more going on beyond just that. I mean, if you just scroll, you're going to constantly see, Dubai news about Dubai. You got regulators cracking down on unlicensed funds. They're going in the right direction, right? They're opening things up where they can, and they're also closing scams off where they can. And we're not really seeing that level of consistency or in any way right now from America. And I think that, this is really, really highlighted over here. I'm sorry, not here, a little bit somewhere around here. Let me go ahead and find this for you. It's really highlighted where they talk about the upcoming administrations here. Let's see, because this is really, really interesting. But it is hard for me to read and talk at the same time. Right here, according to Crypto.com, the move by the SEC illustrates that the SEC's unauthorized and unjust regulation by enforcement campaign continues despite bipartisan indications that the next administration will take a more constructive and effective approach. Basically, what they're saying here is that even though both Kamala and Trump, with their campaigns, are pledging to be nicer to the crypto industry, meaning basically there's no negative for the next administration. Both administrations are indicating that they're going to be better at regulating this environment. Even though both of them are saying that, Crypto.com is arguing that the SEC is almost in a sense rogue, by doing things that are unnecessary, unnecessarily kind of unjust, using their own words. Even though both upcoming administrations, are not going to be doing the same thing, right? So a uniquely hostile administration over the last 4 years, I think, for sure. And we're seeing, plenty of grief about it. So I think this is super interesting. We were, looking a little bit into the effect on the market, and that's why I wanted to make a video on this for you. But like I said, we're here live anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at this now. And if you are enjoying this so far, do me a favor and smash up those likes if you haven't done so already. Let's get this thing up to 250, closing in on that level. This is an interesting chart. This is 3rd of December 2020. The reason this is interesting is because this vertical line represents the day that SEC kind of legal battles began for Ripple, for XRP, which is one of the bigger cryptocurrencies that you guys may or may not have heard about. And they were suffering this issue for years. I mean, like I said, they've just filed against the SEC a couple of days ago. So this has been dragging on for a long time now. And I think what's really interesting is that, we're seeing right at the time that this kind of SEC issue starts to come into the market, nothing happens to the price. And it's the same thing if we take a look at Coinbase, right? We've seen Coinbase kind of experiencing some problems with the SEC as well over, I believe it's their lending products. And nothing really happened to them, or to Bitcoin as a result. So that legal battle is ongoing. So I'm not too worried about this as far as effects in the market go. But if it does represent a broader shift, then that's going to be important to kind of pay attention to. As we are going on, if you've got more questions, requests, and so on for me, drop them in the live chat. I'm continuing to read that as we go on in this live stream. Right now, we're seeing a very, very small bounce off, kind of random levels. Again, nothing too interesting to me. We're on the 1 minute time frame. I still think that lots can change and update here. So we're going to be continuing to watch this as we go on in this video here. If we take a look at a couple of the other tweets that we've got here, we've got Trader Alan here, obviously somebody that we look at quite often on this channel, asking if it's time to shift to Ethereum. On the daily chart, Ethereum against Bitcoin has formed a double bottom, and Ethereum against the US dollar is having a symmetrical triangle bottom. So this is interesting, right? Because we were looking at this chart very recently on this live stream, and what you're going to remember is that I was saying actually this is a massive sign of weakness because Ethereum isn't forming a big meaningful bottom here. It's not really bouncing off this price level, and here we've got the exact same chart but being used for a bullish argument. Look, I think that it makes sense, right? I think it makes sense to speculate on a low kind of being punched in right here because we punched in a low here previously. But in order to agree with this analysis, you would have to ignore everything else that Ethereum has done for the last 1.5 or 2 years, because this has been the most typical pattern that Ethereum has produced where, all right, well, where's your double bottom argument over here? It clearly didn't happen. And that's been an overarching trend for this market for a very, very long time. I mean, we set a low right here, get the same low over here, but this doesn't turn into a bottom that spikes up. It just trades sideways and then dies. It just falls off a cliff. So, you would have to ignore a lot of Ethereum price action, to start agreeing with this analysis that Ethereum might be bottoming out against Bitcoin. But I guess what really strengthens this argument is that if you do zoom out, this is a pretty sweet level for Ethereum to kind of retrace down to against Bitcoin and start capturing some strength, right? So I'm not closed off to these ideas. I still think that it's entirely possible for Ethereum to actually bounce off this price area against Bitcoin and then start rallying up. I still think it's totally possible. I just don't think that it's super likely. And one of the key reasons that I don't think it's super likely is because we're still forming the same kind of chart patterns that result in disaster for these markets. And I think that, if you're not paying attention to that, you're going to say things like this time is different, when instead, it really, to me, looks like standard procedure. So I still think we could be dropping down. I still think 0.3 BTC per token is possible. It's not even that far away anymore. And if there's anything that we know about Ethereum very, very well, it's that when Ethereum does start recovering, if it starts recovering, because nothing is guaranteed, but if it does start recovering, then actually what we know very well about Ethereum is that it tends to move up remarkably quickly. All right, Ethereum tends to be very quick with its moves up, and that is actually a big plus sign for us right here. So I'm going to be continuing to watch that. Against the dollar, it's definitely interesting, right? I've been seeing some interesting analysis about Ethereum against the dollar, and I certainly think that there's some good reason to believe that Ethereum could be looking to kind of rise up a little bit, somewhere around now. If we take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame, we're kind of at a support level right now. We haven't actually lost it. So, I think there's some good cause for being bullish on Ethereum right now, but this Bitcoin chart isn't doing it for me. Could it happen? Yes. Would it surprise me? Yes, honestly, a little bit. But, even if it does, I mean, we've seen Ethereum pull, quite big bounces off its kind of levels, right, against Bitcoin. I mean, this was a 13% move within a day. Again, this was a 6% move within a day. So Ethereum has done very well at bouncing up from its lows against Bitcoin, and sometimes it's even done it after waiting, right? Like sometimes you kind of have to wait for something to happen, and bam, you got a big explosion, right? So it's a Bitcoin chart. You're not going to read into it too much, but I still, to me, it's very much betting against the trend. It's very much expecting things to change significantly, and I just don't think that's safe. Against the dollar, it's not super clear, right? Against the dollar, it's actually looking pretty sweet. But again, it's a downtrend. And more than Ethereum being in a downtrend, Bitcoin is in a downtrend right now, a very, very short-term downtrend at that. But still, and Bitcoin is kind of actively setting lows. And with that in mind, I can't see Ethereum bouncing. That's how I feel about that. This is what happens when a bunch of sensitive men own Bitcoin, according to TC Coates. Not really sure what point you're making there, but I guess you're trying to say that people kind of are selling a little bit earlier than perhaps they should, which is definitely interesting. I can see that being the case. Let's take a look at our next tweet that we've got here. This is Ash Crypto. Again, just with a little bit more kind of election year analysis, showing that, coincidentally, these dotted lines that are vertical show the election seasons. And every single election since 2012 and including 2012, we have seen Bitcoin skyrocket after the election. It's pretty much the premise of my US election video as well. Well worth checking out. Like I said, any of you guys that are watching this thing live, if you haven't already watched this video, which is most of you, if you haven't already watched this video, go back and check it out on this YouTube channel. Just kind of scroll back through the videos. It's only 2 weeks ago. You're going to find it. And this is one of the best videos I've ever made. Very, very value packed. Lots of analysis there. Lots of really, really good stuff in that video. And I kind of show you a very in-depth view of my kind of US election analysis. But there's no doubt in my mind that I think it's going to be a bullish event. I think we're not quite there yet. But I mean, I can't be worried. We haven't broken market structure. We're just kind of pulling back a little bit. And I think that, we got a comment here, Chris, saying this dump feels very forced, like it's being manipulated down. I mean, look, I don't want to kind of go out on the record and agree with you, but I certainly don't disagree either, right? Like, I actually think that, and put it this way, I don't want to go on the record and say it because, I'm live on YouTube right now, but I think if you and I were sitting together in our living room or whatever, we're sitting in a restaurant talking about it, I agree, man. I think that this drop does look like it's being engineered a little bit. Could it be the U.S. government selling? I mean, yeah, it could be. I don't know, and I don't think it matters either, to be honest. We might actually be seeing this might just be long positions closing, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at this with our open interest. And yeah, we're seeing right here, we're seeing open interest drop on this drop. So yeah, it looks like positions are just closing, to be honest. Right when this drop happens, open interest drops. And it doesn't drop by a little bit, by the way. I mean, this is 890 down to 870. Yeah, it's okay. It's not that much. It's only about 2.5%. But open interest dropping there, and you see it kind of happening when we break key levels. So this kind of looks like longs getting washed out, which is a really, really good sign in my opinion. It's a very good sign that we're starting to see long positions getting washed out, because that's going to pave the way for new longs to enter. And we really have to keep this in mind, right, ladies and gents? We really have to keep this in mind that if longs are closing, that means they can reopen, right? And if longs can reopen, that means the market can get pushed up, right? We don't care about longs that have already been open. We don't care about trades that have where people have already bought Bitcoin. If anything, it's a bad thing, because when you've already bought Bitcoin, now you can sell it, right? So we're really not interested in the buying that's already happened. What we're interested in is the buying that can happen in the future, or that will happen in the future. And this clearly, I mean, we've got the CVD pointing down, we've got the open interest pointing down. This shows me very, very clearly that, we're seeing long positions close. That's all that's happening. Just people that were bullish are now no longer bullish, and obviously the correct time to get out of your long position is when you're making money, when you're in a profit. The correct time to get out of a long position is not when you start breaking below lows, but obviously people are being forced to. Some people are going to be having their stop losses, some people are getting liquidated, some people are just not comfortable and they want to get out. But the bottom line is that this is clearly a shakeout. And to me, it looks more like this kind of thing can just kind of return back to the mean. So I think that's super interesting. Ladies and gents, I'm getting super hungry, so I'm going to be wrapping this up relatively soon. If you are enjoying the stream so far, do me a favor and smash up those likes. Double check as usual that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, and there are tons of trading opportunities that I think people are going to be interested in right now. If you want to trade these markets on the same exchanges that I'm using, they are linked right here. Bybit's the best in the game, there's no doubt. You get $30,000 when you start trading using my link below on Bybit. Apex is their decentralized sister exchange. Tons of bonuses there as well. Fully decentralized, full self-custody. You don't have to give your money anywhere. And by the way, those of you that are on Bybit, you can actually get access to the Bybit debit card, which is super cool. I've been talking about this a little bit because I've been using it all over the world. Where is it? It is a real Bybit Visa card, I'm pretty sure. Is it MasterCard? That looks like MasterCard. 10% cash back in points. You get a physical card. Anybody that is a VIP on Bybit can get this anywhere in the world. And it's not that hard to be VIP either, right? I mean, obviously not everyone has a spare $100,000 laying around, but you'd be surprised. A lot of people do. And if you're a VIP on Bybit, signed up under me, then you can get the Bybit debit card as well. Super, super cool. And Blowfin with tons more bonuses. They're just going to give you free shit, phones, Apple Watches, Teslas, whatever, depending on how much you trade, and more money that you can trade with as well. Always check your country's local laws and regulations before you sign up to any of these exchanges. But very, very cool offers there for sure. Ferry is asking, maybe Israel is dumping the market. I mean, maybe, but again, I don't think it matters. I don't think that it would be particularly easy to find out anyway. So, yeah, I think it's hard to say. Let's see if we got any more kind of questions, requests, and so on in this live chat. I would be happy to kind of look through them. Before I close off this live stream. It's been a very good one so far. Bitcoin's still trading at about 59.2. So we'll see what happens here for the last few minutes of this live stream. Yeah, just make sure that I've kind of covered everything I wanted to cover. And I pretty much have. By the way, here is a view of Coinbase. SEC sues Coinbase over lending products. This happens around over here. Nothing happens. Bitcoin is already in a downtrend. It continues down a little bit, and then it sets an all-time high. Another Wells notice from SEC to Coinbase, and then SEC sues over staking products. This was 2023. And again, nothing happens to the market, right? So this kind of enforcement action really not having that much of an impact by the looks of it, which is interesting. And here, we've just got, we've got more kind of Binance, getting sued by the SEC, charges being dismissed, just updates, but again, no impact on price, which I think is particularly interesting here. And then a kind of overview of what we're looking at here as well in terms of, the kind of downside potential for Bitcoin, and also the upside potential for Bitcoin, right? The good thing about Bitcoin right now, even though we're below 60K, is that in order to get bullish again, in my opinion, all we have to do is get above 65, 66K, which is only about $7,000 away. I know that it's far away, but, that gap can be closed pretty quickly. And then, we start getting above those highs, and I don't know how anybody could stop Bitcoin at that point. I think Bitcoin could just get really aggressive and just fly. And we've seen it happen before many times. I would fully anticipate that it happens again in this market if we are able to kind of get back above those 65K highs, 66K highs that we've recently set in this market. Thoughts on the US government wanting to sell Bitcoin story? I mean, I don't know. Is there anything we're talking about in particular? Because I'm not super familiar with this news here. I mean, I'm just looking through Bitcoin Digest US nightmare CPI jobs data, 60K hangs. I mean, just such dramatic titles. Nothing's actually happening. But yeah, I don't really know what you guys are talking about. But again, I'm really not interested in if or how much the US government is selling, of crypto. We recently had headlines just like that a couple of months ago or a couple of weeks ago, and it was probably like, I don't know, somewhere around here, and then the market just took off afterwards, right? So I don't know what it was. You guys in the live chat might remember this, but we've recently had threats of government selling Bitcoin, and the price actually just started going up. I mean, it's not getting absorbed in any negative way, so I think that's really, really good. I got a quick request to take a look at TIA, so let's go ahead and look at Celestia against the dollar, and see if there's anything particularly interesting going on over here. Not really. Looks like the same kind of chart as other coins. We've got a little bit of support right here. If we lose this support, it's probably down to the next one, which looks like it's kind of around here. Yeah, gotta hold on to this level. I don't want to see Celestia dropping anywhere below kind of $4.76, but as long as we hold above $4.76, we got a little bit of leeway for wicks, but that's it. As long as we kind of hold on to this level, Celestia's got a lot of upside. I still think it looks like shit. I think it's very much at the mercy of Bitcoin, so can't really say a whole lot about Celestia. Just as much as any other coin, it's just not really none of these coins are moving particularly independently right now. Sean's just been eating a sirloin steak with chips, salad, watching this live stream. Amazing, mate. Sean's got it right. Sean's got it locked down. Shout out to Sean. Hope you had a great steak. How do you get your steak cooked, mate? How do you like your steak? Yeah, I think now that you're talking about steak, I might have to do something similar. Supreme Court has ruled that they could sell. I mean, again, I don't think that it matters, does it? And again, if they did sell it, it's gonna be OTC, right? So it's not gonna go straight onto the live market that you and I trade on. Even Trump can't save Bitcoin. Most importantly, Trump doesn't need to save Bitcoin. Neither does Kamala. I think Bitcoin stands pretty well on its own. But naturally, I think the things that crypto stand for are inherently anti-presidential, or at least anti the current way that the U.S. government is formed. So I don't believe that either candidate is truly for crypto at all. I think that they're just trying to get voters, which is what we see all the time. But ladies and gents, I'm pretty much done there. There's not a whole lot more that I want to cover with you in today's live stream. So thank you all for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. If you haven't, let me know. Oh, we got this. Take a look at this. Bitcoin interest, according to Google Trends. People aren't really looking at Bitcoin right now. So again, I mean, are we early? Are we late? I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good sign. So yeah, not too worried about that either. But yeah, ladies and gents, thank you all for tuning in. You know what to do. Let's smash up those likes one more time, see if we can close in on that 250 like target. The reality is the US government ain't gonna sell cheap 59K. They aren't bothered. I mean, yeah, I think I also agree with that. I don't know if the US even cares necessarily, because a lot of the time things get auctioned, right? So I don't know if it necessarily matters that $2.5 billion of crypto becomes $3 billion. It ain't going to the US anyway. It's going somewhere else. Somewhere else in the world. So not that it really matters if there's a capital gain there. I did recently hear, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen this, that apparently the FBI created a like meme coin of some sort in order to catch people who are doing like illegal market manipulation. I found that super funny. I don't know if you guys have heard of that as well, but apparently the FBI created a meme coin to trap traders, and it worked, by the way. So that is hilarious. Good stuff on them. Nice to see the FBI, playing in 2024, keeping up with the times. That's super cool. But there you go. Nice little bounce on Bitcoin there to round this stream off. I still don't think this is going to hold. I still think Bitcoin's dropping down again. But 59.3, recently sweeping that high, still on the way to move a little bit higher. Next Fund AI is the FBI coin. Yeah, we can Google that real quick because that is hilarious. Next Fund AI, right here from Yahoo Finance. Let's take a look at this article. So close to 250 likes, ladies and gents. So close. But if we go ahead and oh god, what's going on? Can't click away from this, so we're just not going to use this page. And let's take a look at CoinMarketCap does articles. Should have known that. In a groundbreaking initiative to tackle crypto fraud and market manipulation, the FBI launched its own token, Next Fund AI. This unprecedented move aims to identify and apprehend individuals and companies engaged in illicit activities within the crypto market. Not very stealthy anymore, I guess. The launch of Next Fund AI is part of a broader investigation that has already resulted in the indictment of 14 individuals and 4 companies by the US DOJ for various forms of crypto fraud and market manipulation. Beautiful. We love to see it. We love to see it. Introduction to Next Fund AI. The FBI's Next Fund AI token represents a novel approach in law enforcement efforts to monitor and regulate the burgeoning crypto ecosystem. By leveraging blockchain tech, this token is designed to enhance the FBI's capabilities in tracking suspicious transactions. Basically, they made a shitload of money, and they used the same tools available to anybody else creating coins to basically catch people that do naughty stuff. How does it work? They analyze the blockchain transactions in real time to detect anomalies and suspicious activities that may signal fraudulent behavior. It's actually very easy to do this because everything is on chain. So, I mean, I think the reason the FBI is doing it is because anybody and their grandmother could do this themselves. Data analysis, utilizing advanced AI and machine learning algorithms. AI and machine learning mean the same thing, don't they? Next Fund AI processes vast amounts of data to identify potential manipulators and predict future. Very smart. I mean, I can see why this works really well. It's very hard to hide it if you're fucking around with stuff like this. So it makes total sense, and hopefully we're going to see a lot more of this. It may also serve as a tool for engaging with the public, encouraging whistleblowers to report suspicious activities by offering incentives in the form of tokens. That is hilarious. We've got shitcoin airdrops from the FBI in 2024. Who would have thought? That is absolutely sick. Sammy Loyal is fed up of the market or turning into a robot. It's not that I'm fed up or turning into a robot. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's that I'm a bit fed up. It's not that I'm fed up. I'm not fed up with the market. I'm really not. I take it as it is, right? I mean, I'm just here to make money, right? I'm not here to like feel emotions about like, oh shit, I'm tired of this market or I'm pissed off or whatever. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what makes me money. What I am here for, I think, quite clearly through and through, is to just kind of be ready. Be ready when things are happening. And keep myself sharp, help keep you guys sharp as much as I can, and that's kind of good enough for me. Future outlooks, they're looking for more collaborations with international agencies. They're probably going to keep on doing this. They're doing a good, I mean, they're not sitting on their ass, not entirely anyway. They are doing something. React Indian, I made videos saying 100k and now dumping. I mean, look, I still think 100k is possible. And we might take the scenic route to get there, but React Indian maybe a little bit more nuance, would go a long way for you. And also we're on YouTube, mate. I mean, you know, titles are going to be titles, but you know, hopefully you guys are enjoying the content, and that's what matters more. Just got to play the game. You guys understand that. I'm not worried about saying that with you guys right here, but ladies and gents, I'm going to be calling it here. If you got any last kind of questions, comments, please let me know. We need to create FBI and SEC shitcoins just for fun. It sounds genius. We need to... oh, I'm not supposed to be showing this. I got this script randomly from somebody. Take a look at this. Fuck it, we're here now. I'm not going to use this script. Just look at... anyway, you guys can observe. Hey, if anybody wants to collaborate with me on YouTube stuff, feel free to send it over. This is a new thing that I'm doing. And this was just a random guy that reached out, so I need to be a little bit more careful about what I show on live streams. But I'm not using that script anyway, so it's all good. That was just one random guy that reached out. Never met him, never spoke to him, and he was like, hey, record this. People are competitive these days. He was like, hey, record this and I'm gonna edit it for you in full for free. And that's what happens these days. You know, people are kind of willing to prove themselves by taking extreme lengths because there's so much competition. It's amazing. It's really, really smart. And just while we are doing shout outs, I do want to you know, bring up once again, if any of you guys are kind of interested in a move out to the UAE, to Dubai, it's definitely a great... I mean, you're still looking at 0% tax, which is amazing. No income tax at all, no capital gains. If you want to set up a company, move out to the UAE or anything like that, there's tons and tons of stuff that we can do for you from A to Z. Absolutely everything you need, we can handle that for you. If you want to reach out and get some information about that, you've got my direct Telegram name right here in the description, or you can reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram, whatever you like. Email as well, also available. You'll find that somewhere on the YouTube channel, I think on the About page. So, you know, if that's more your vibe, you can totally do that too. Someone wanted me to check the SWE chart, so let's go ahead and take a look at this super quickly. More of the same, really. It's looking pretty strong, but it's still just waiting for Bitcoin to do something by the looks of it. I think that if it can get above this resistance level, there's kind of nothing until all-time highs. So that's obviously pretty nice. Oh, that's yeah, they are all-time highs. So that's obviously pretty cool. Long way to drop if it turns bad though. So yeah, a very long way to drop. No support no resistance established on the way up. So naturally, no support on the way down, I would imagine. You know, so I think that's important too. But yeah, I think it's looking okay. I mean, there's not a whole lot of analysis I can do here. I'm gonna have to come back to this chart when, you know, something's actually going on, because right now there's not a whole lot that's particularly taking place on this chart. Phantom. Let's take a quick look at Phantom here. Phantom's looking cool. It's at a 618 Fibonacci. That's pretty nice. Nice horizontal level here. This is a pretty clean buy. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take this buy personally, but I can see why some people would. You know, stop loss. Actually, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I mean, yeah, 5 risk to reward. Probably would target 70 cents. It's a 3.4 risk to reward, 3.5% risk, 12% upside. It's pretty decent actually. I actually like that. Let me send that to my lead analyst, and yeah, let's see. I don't know. Would I take it? Potentially. I gotta look into it. But there you go, ladies and gents. I'm done. That's me for today. If you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. Smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, check out your huge offers. Tons of free cash when you start trading using these links. Check your country's local laws and regulations. Bybit card available to VIP members. Super, super cool stuff. Want to contact me? It's right there. Been a good stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.